Hello, movie lovers. So today I actually have Chris Nori here with me, and I also have Western Reviews. He'll be here shortly. But today we are talking about the stinking pile of crap. Talking about Halloween Ends today. And this is actually going to be our spoiler review for Halloween Ends. I hope everyone sits back, relaxes, and enjoys the show. Hey, Mike. Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Hey, good. Thank you for having me. I was just jamming to your theme music. It was pretty good.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Everybody loves this theme song, of course. Anyways, we're talking about Halloween Ends. And here's the thing. If you guys looked at my non-spoiler review, you guys know that I really didn't like this movie at all. And it's supposed to deliver us this whole entire deal where we actually have a face-off against Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael Myers. And here's the thing. They introduce us to this one character that we're supposed to care about, that we've never been introduced to this character at all up until this final movie, which I find stupid that they actually did that. And so you have this guy named Corey. Corey's babysitting this kid. Then, of course, he winds up knocking the kid off the banister after the kid winds up locking up in the attic. Corey winds up just trying to basically kick the door down. Whenever he kicks the door down, the door winds up slamming in the kid's face, and then of course that's when the kid goes over the banisters, over the railings, and then the mother winds up thinking that Corey was the one who killed him, and of course it was just a freak accident. It was just one of those accidents. But all in all, I didn't really care about Corey. I didn't care about the relationship between Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter. I didn't care about any of that stuff. And I just wish that it spent more time focusing on Michael Myers versus it just being about Corey. I understand that they did something ballsy, which is giving us some new characters to focus in on rather than Michael Myers and stuff like that. I do appreciate the ballsiness of it, but the payoff just does not land.
Yeah, man.
But
I'll tell you that this thing, what a piece of crap. And if anybody who watches me on your show regularly, it probably appears like I don't like any film that has ever come out. That's not true. But this one, oh, what a piece of crap, right? It was amazing up until the kid died. And then after that, it all fell apart and it got boring. And it doesn't even, it's part of a trilogy. It's the end part of this trilogy. And it doesn't even start till however many years later, 5 years later, 6 years after the second one. And it just didn't fit, right? Like it didn't feel like it was part of this trilogy. It was like all of a sudden they wanted to go somewhere else with it. And it was very disappointing. I was very disappointed.
I was very disappointed with this. And, like I said, they made us try and care about a character that we've never been introduced to up until this point. It's also been 5 years, like you said, Chris, whenever he winds up, of course, when we actually focus in on this kid. And then, of course, we wind up seeing all these other people hanging themselves because of Halloween, because of the things that Michael Myers has done. Then you see Jamie Lee Curtis, where she's basically just going to be a grandma and bake pumpkin pies for her granddaughter. And
that
so, yeah.
that was a crazy thing, right? Like, how did Jamie Lee Curtis go from being where she was in the second one, right, where she's like this survivalist now, and she's paranoid, and she's ruined most of her family because this is all she focuses on, and then all of a sudden she's writing a book, right, of her memoirs, and she's happy, and it just, what happened to that character, man? It just doesn't make sense.
No, because here's the thing. Whenever I thought about Halloween Ends, I thought it was going to pick up right where the last Halloween movie left us at,
Yeah.
with her in the hospital bed. And then that's when she winds up doing her, basically just being doing recovery, I guess, is basically what I was thinking. I was thinking there was supposed to be a moment where we have that badassery of a legendary character where she's supposed to be a survivalist. And instead, we wind up seeing her bake pies 5 years later, running a Minmore, even though the sheriff told her, "Hey, look, it would be a great idea if you did that." And of course, she winds up getting sober. And then you also have the other thing too, where she saw a psychiatrist. Even with psychiatry, within 5 years, it takes more than 5 years of being tortured by someone to do what she was doing in this film to be fully recovered.
No, I mean they destroyed the characters that they had been building in the first two films, or if you want to count, the very first Halloween is supposed to be the first part. So I guess it's really not a trilogy. It's a what was that? Quadrology, a quadril? I don't know.
Anthology?
But yeah, whatever. But you think you're better than me? No, anyway. So, here's the next thing, right? Michael Myers is in this cave for what, 3, 4 years? He's not killing anybody except for the occasional bum. I mean, what is that even about, right? They even screwed his character up. He barely has any, and they still fucked it up.
Right. Here's the thing. They put Jamie Lee Curtis on the sidelines and on Halloween Ends, which was a horrible movie. I like the 2018 Halloween much better. Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
And I like the very first one with the 2018 version. Yeah. But going into in the last two films, this one sucked. They screwed the pooch on it, because here's the thing. When you look at the character arc of Jamie Lee Curtis, of Laurie, they screw that up. Then you wind up having Michael Myers sit up on the sidelines, just like how they made Laurie sit up on the sidelines with Halloween Kills and not even do anything. And Michael is just living the good life in the sewer, and then here comes douchebag Corey. He's trying to get Michael out of retirement, and he's like, you know what, dude? Here comes Western.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Western.
There you are.
Hey.
Well, so, what have y'all talked about thus far?
Well, I'm talking about how Corey took Michael out of retirement.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever he went down into the sewer, and he was like, hey, Michael, what's up, dude? Look, bro, I have this guy over here up in the sewer. I'm up there. So, you know what? He's been giving me some problems. So I'm just going to drag him down over here, and you just teach me what you know, because I want to be taught by the best at killing people. So he brings him down to the sewer. Then next thing you know, Michael winds up killing the guy. Then he was just happy. He was just happy living down in the sewer, being retired from Halloween, and then here he comes wanting to kill people. So, I mean, I just didn't really like his character. I didn't really feel like Corey had a good character arc in this movie at all. I thought that his character was very forced. I even thought the chemistry between Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter was also forced, though, too, trying to force us into basically a romantic relationship when there's nothing there. There's no cohesiveness there to actually say, hey, look, these two belong together. It's basically you have two directors who called each other up. He's like, hey, look, I'm making a Halloween movie. Oh, really? Well, guess what? I'm making a romantic movie about this one girl who falls in love with this one guy in a small town. And you know what? I don't have an ending. Really? I don't have an ending for mine either. I'm making Halloween Ends. Really? Okay. So let's work together. Let's combine both things. And guess what? You have your ending, I have my ending, and we go our own way. That's what it feels like to me.
So that's actually what the director, and I can't remember his name right now, but that's what his thing was, right? Like he said from the beginning that the first Halloween was kind of the jump start. The second Halloween was going to be the Halloween Kills was going to be like this action film, and then the third one was going to be this romance film. And it's oh my god, it's crazy. It's like this thing with Corey where basically Michael passes it on. That's directly from my play, right? These guys stole that shit from me. That is some bullshit. I gotta be money in it better than that. Here. Right. They completely stole it from me. It's crazy.
But here's another thing, though, Chris. Okay. Your play might be 10 times better than this piece of garbage.
No, it is.
I'm just going to be honest.
It is. I don't like your use of the word maybe.
It is better than it. Let me just put it this way. It is better. Okay, so this is another thing I don't get. Okay, so I'm over here watching it with my aunt and I'm over there raging because of this movie. I'm like, please don't tell me that they're going to go ahead, kill Michael off, and then Corey winds up becoming the new boogeyman for this generation.
Yeah.
Which you have the most basic white guy named Corey. So
that is true. It's always us shooting
here.
That's
but
us.
you know what though? At least Michael,
We did it.
actually Michael Myers, you have someone that actually feels like a terrifying name. You have a guy named Corey.
Just Corey.
So think of it like this. You'd start this new franchise up with a guy named Corey. It's like, yeah, I'm really afraid of Corey. What?
Probably why he's killing people.
Right.
It's like, if his name was Vic, he wouldn't. He'd just have a regular job. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, he works down at the corner store, bagging groceries or something.
Pretty much.
But I just feel like they missed an opportunity to where they built on that structure of the very first movie, and they lost it. They definitely did a horrible job with this. They could have done a 10 times better job. And even whenever he's trying to whenever Michael winds up teaching Corey how to kill somebody, stuff like that, then all of a sudden he turns into like Arnie from the movie Christine, where basically his glasses break. Then you see the transformation of his character where he wants to be a total ball bag the whole entire movie. And he goes, the most corniest line in this movie is where he's like, let's burn this city down. I got the match.
Oh, I thought you were going to say another line that I was thinking of.
Okay, tell me your line.
One thing I thought was pretty corny when he was talking with Laurie in one scene where he was saying, talking about who's psycho and who's the freak show. He just sits down and looks at us and goes, I'm the psycho, you're the freak show, and then walks off like he just did some of the greatest hits of horror dialogue that we've ever heard in the 21st century. It's like, nah, that's a bit corny.
That was pretty good. So to me, the interesting thing is that ball bag is actually a scientific term. I don't know if you knew that. That is true. Yeah. No, I just made that up. I completely made that up. So here's the crazy thing, right? Is you mentioned it kind of in that you're like, oh, now Corey's going to become the boogeyman, right? And that's the thing, is Michael from day one, I know this doesn't include all the middle movies, but even if you just take these 4 movies, Michael's a boogeyman, right? He can't be killed. People shoot this motherfucker. They stab him. She stabbed him in the eye, through the brain with a friggin' coat hanger, right? That's because they took away women's choice, by the way. I'm just saying that. I mean, it's just nuts how much they've done to this guy. And then what? They slit his throat and they slit his wrist and then he dies? How does that even happen? All this other stuff, nothing kills him, but then you just kind of slit his wrist and he dies. That, again, they totally screwed his. I don't think this director, who, by the way, also did
Gordon
Pineapple
Green
Express, which was fantastic, right? Pineapple Express is a hilarious movie, but I don't think he understood Halloween. I really don't.
Well, get this. If you think he's going to screw that up, guess what movie he's making next?
Oh, no. What's next?
The Exorcist.
Right. I saw that. I don't know if this is going to be a remake or what. He better get his shit together on that one. That's one of my favorite movies.
I better not hear in that one, you're the freak show.
You know what? That's what the priest needs to say in the Exorcist movie. You're the freak show.
That's right. You're the freak show.
You're the freak, I'm the priest. Or something of that sort. Don't do that.
But Western, tell us what else you didn't like, because I've been rambling about some of the stuff I didn't like for like the last couple of minutes. So what are some of the things that you didn't like?
Following up on you, just the unnecessary, subplot of the romantic relationship between, the granddaughter and Corey. It's just not unnecessary. The build up didn't really go anywhere. I thought it was going to be maybe like, a Bonnie and Clyde type thriller subplot, but it didn't go anywhere. It was just unnecessary. And then plus just putting Oliver, oh, well, you don't understand, he's perfect for me. You don't understand it, to her grandmother, Lori. It's just, it made no sense. It just seemed like filler, basically.
Well, at first I did feel bad for the guy because because of the fact that, he's just got wrongfully accused for a murder that was actually an accident. I really felt bad for him at the very beginning and the start of it. Then I thought, okay, so maybe he winds up becoming the hero that saves the granddaughter is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So therefore, I was okay with where I was going in the first 10, 15 minutes of it. But then you wind up sidelining Michael Myers, where he's basically on the bench waiting for the coach to put him into play, and you're not doing anything. And he winds up losing the Super Bowl for you for your final movie. And then, yeah, I'm using football terminology.
Super Bowl.
But another thing, though, too, is you have Laurie who winds up feeling bad for the kid and basically winds up helping him out of certain situations. And then, of course, you wind up seeing the kids come back after he slits their tires and things like that. And it was just like very repetitiveness when it became down to the bullying and things like that, to the point. And then all of a sudden, Corey winds up just getting in this one dude's face, the sheriff, and he winds up getting in his face. And next thing you know, Michael kills him. And then all of a sudden, Corey winds up being like Doctor Strange, teach me. So then he gets his mask. Corey gets his mask, which is that stupid scarecrow mask.
Right. Just absolutely just cheat. Party Cindy. Barney has the pin.
Yeah. But that's another crazy fucking thing. You're talking about the mask, and how does Michael just let Corey take his mask, right? I mean, that is who Michael is. That's his entire being, is that fucking mask. And he just lets Corey have it?
Well,
oh, what are they doing?
To be honest with you, the poor guy's a senior citizen. He just beat the hell out of a senior citizen and took his mask.
You notice how he tried to get up in that one scene?
Well, I think we can all relate to that.
Right. You see, I think Michael just wanted to retire from Halloween, not worry about anything that's going on. And Corey was like, nah, we're not going to have that, bro. I need your mask. So he beats up the crap out of him and takes the mask. Then next thing you know, Michael's pissed off because he took his mask. So now he has to go after Laurie because now he's pissed off and has to find a reason to be pissed off at Laurie because it's her fault now that the granddaughter,
or you made him.
But here's the thing: I was like, oh, the kills were cool. I'm like, yeah, the kills were cool if it was done by Michael Myers. Yeah,
yeah,
not done by Corey.
No,
that was like anticlimactic to me. Was having Corey do the killing, especially with the DJ. Every little thing that anybody ever said to him or whatever, he takes it out on people. That's not Michael Myers. That's not the way he does things. And I can understand why he let Corey go whenever he first sees him down in there, because I think evil recognizes evil. So therefore he recognized there's something going on deep within Corey to where maybe, not saying that they can work together, but maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to let this guy live, and he goes his way, I go my way. We don't talk about the situation. But I just feel like that they screwed the pooch with it. As far as the fight scene with Laurie and stuff, I thought that was really good. I thought the fighting was really that was probably the best stuff. That's why you went to go see Halloween Ends, not see Corey and the granddaughter get it on. Yeah. What about you guys?
Right. Yeah.
Hit it, Western.
Great. I'll take it.
We've been talking like for crazy. You're like,
I'll take this one. But yeah, I agree with you, John, on that. Really, the final showdown between Laurie and Michael is just absolutely amazing. Just you at the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen. It's just these two titans have been fighting for decades on end, and then to just see the final battle is just amazing. Just visual things to see. Better than what you were saying with Corey and the granddaughter getting it on. Laura watching them go up the stairs by the window, like, those kids. And I was like,
oh, my daughter's about to get her brain screwed.
Yeah. You know what? If it were up to me, the unmasking of Michael Myers, which should have been a huge thing, right? Because every movie he's got that mask on, and you really don't see much of him. You see a little bit in the last movie, but the unmasking should have been super important to me. If I wrote this thing, the very end would be just before Laurie kills him. That mask would come off, and he would talk for the first time and just say her name, right? Laurie, and boom, and then she fucking kills him, right? I just feel like they missed, that end, if she's really going to kill him, should have been so huge and so amazing and done something he hasn't done through the entire series. And again, they just fucked it up.
Hmm.
I don't know
And
what they were thinking.
well, another thing I want to mention is this. Okay, so you have Jamie Lee Curtis that was about to look like that she was embracing Halloween, going up the stairs. She turns on the jack o' lantern, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe she's trying to, basically come to terms with Halloween, and she's lighting the thing. And then all of a sudden, you see her with the gun, acting like she's going to kill herself. Of course, she also lured Corey anyways. She knew Corey was coming because he gets pissed off at everything.
Right.
So he wants a little jackass comes up the stairs, and he sees the pumpkin get basically she winds up looking like that she's gonna blow her brains out, and then all of a sudden you see this whole entire thing unravel where she winds up faking it. One of my friends said, "Do you think that was necessary?" I said, "That would if she would have blown her brains out, that would go against her character arc and who she is.
Right.
She knew what she was doing. She lured Corey into that trap."
Yeah, she
what she
wasn't really
did.
going to do that. Yeah, she wasn't. And I actually thought that was a pretty good scene, right? Like I really liked that. And I know it was kind of contrived and it wasn't too much different than a lot of action films have done, but I still thought it was pretty cool, right? I thought it was funny because I'm sitting there thinking the same thing. Why the fuck would she kill herself? But they've already screwed up so much by that point. It's like, well, I don't put them beyond anything. They might do any stupid shit, and then she actually doesn't do it, and she gets him. And I just thought that was kind of neat, right? They had a few good scenes in the film, not a lot.
And then
Not a lot.
the action sequences with the very end of it, with the climax of it, with the garbage disposal. I didn't know. I was literally losing my mind with the garbage disposal scene. The kitchen scene was really
Yeah.
the kitchen scene was gruesome and was brutal. But like you said, Chris, her slitting his wrist and then slitting his throat, and then also too that wasn't good enough. So we're gonna go on ahead and put him in a junkyard shredder.
It was giving me Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
But how gruesome
Exactly.
it was.
Right. Although I will say the scene that scared me the most, you mentioned it, is the garbage disposal. Garbage disposals scare the shit out of me, right?
Mhm.
Just the idea that you get in there and it's just chopping you up. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
even know if they actually work that way or whatnot, but that was a very terrifying scene. You're right.
But I was thinking Michael was going to come back alive when they were basically carrying his body, and she was going to throw the body into the grinder in the junkyard. I was thinking he was going to drag her in there with him, and they both died.
Oh, that would have been cool too, and it would have been it would have made sense for her to die with him, right?
Because it started with her, and it'll end with her, and it would end with him.
Right.
It'd be kind of poetic in a sense, but in a dark way. But so
No, it would. I would actually prefer for them to, although I like the garbage or the chipper. But I was thinking like knives would really be the way to do it, right? Because there's something kind of sexual, and I know they're not sexual towards each other, but at least for Michael, I think there is this. I think it was the same thing with his sister, right? That it was a very sexual thing, and that's why he usually kills people with knives. And so I think if the two of them had those knives, I think it would probably be be a fair ending to it.
I think so too. I think having her kill him with a bunch of knives and stabbing every artery in him would actually be more satisfying than doing what she did. Because other than that, I feel like they rushed that part to where it was like anticlimactic with that, anticlimactic with the kills that Corey did. Which to me, I thought the DJ parts where the DJ has his tongue cut out was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like I said, it would have been better if it was
with the record. That was hilarious. That part was pretty funny, man. Me and my wife were laughing our asses off.
Well, you want to know what I laughed on was when the kid falls over the banister at the very beginning.
You laughed at that?
The opening scene.
Yeah,
What a
yeah.
whole fucking bastard you are.
You told me
God.
you laughed at that. I'm like, you laughed at that? I was surprised. Like, oh, they really going
Why
there.
It was
did
funny.
that woman marry you? What is? Oh, it's crazy.
This is why Brandy is not watching the show right now. So,
She's gonna think long and hard about before you guys have children. I think.
well, we got 4 kids. So,
Oh, well, that just kind of blew my whole joke. Thanks, man.
you're welcome anytime. You see, now you know how it feels
Right.
to get something broken. So, yeah.
Just like that kid going over the banister.
It's not me, man. It's that shitty equipment you're using. That's what it is.
I can't help it. We're from the South. We don't really have a lot of good stuff. So, but I do have to say though, my expectations were high with this movie, despite the fact that we had that horrible Halloween kills that Western was actually on with me.
Yes.
And
Dies tonight.
I understood why I didn't like that movie, which was because of the fact the first movie was very atmospheric, where you actually could tell that it was a Halloween movie, and stuff like that, and it had a slow build to it. It had range. It had a good plot. It knew what it was and had a sensibility of it. The second one felt like Michael Myers was trying to be like John Wick, and then the third one felt really flat, where it didn't even know what it wanted to be. 1 minute it wanted to be a romantic movie, next minute it wanted to be a slasher movie, next minute it wanted to be a horror movie. So you didn't know where it was going. And then even whenever Corey's stabbing the doctor, the douchebag that didn't give Laurie's granddaughter the promotion, and stabbing him like repeatedly, I'm like, okay, that's not the way Michael does things either. Where he's just just going for the neck and just slaughtering him with that. Now, Michael only had, I think, 3 kills in the whole entire movie compared to Corey's body count.
Wild.
Let me check my checklist. Hang on.
It probably is 3.
Yep.
3 plus 1 struggling to stand up. Yeah.
He didn't do a lot. I know he didn't do a lot. It was. I think he did maybe 2, right? Oh yeah, if you count the bum, then maybe 3. But
versus Halloween kills, he probably did like 2 dozen kills then.
Oh, no doubt. Just that one scene. Here's the thing. I actually watched Halloween Kills just 2-3 days ago, right? Well, just like a couple days before Halloween Ends, because I just wanted to get familiar with it again. And I actually thought on the second viewing that it was better than I remembered it as, right? It really had some great scenes. There were a few times where he thought, oh man, Michael really is going to get it this time, which was dumb for me, I think, because I already knew there was a third one coming out. I don't know why I thought that, but I did feel that way when I was watching it. So I actually thought some of that was actually pretty decent, but then yeah, in the third one again, he was such a minor character, and they focused on this other guy. And if they're really thinking of making the next one about that guy, it's just stupid, right? Because who
It
cares?
is.
I thought Michael was the boogeyman, and obviously he's not.
But do you understand why I thought that they were going to go with him though? Because of the fact there was a quote inside the movie where it says, "You're a boogeyman." Because you provoked that man, that is your boogeyman, or something to that extent.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so basically you're telling me Michael could wind up dying, and this jackass could wind up being the next Michael Myers, taking over the franchise. Probably. Because this is like the last movie that they have with Blumhouse. So after this, no more movies that are going to be made through Blumhouse or anything like that. Then the rights revert back over to, I think, Universal or something. But this is like the last one, so I'm just thinking, okay, so you can't do another Halloween movie, so guess what? You're going to go on ahead and just get Corey and just to be the front man to do this. And it was just making me angry the whole entire time. I'm like, I'm over there sitting down with my aunt watching this movie. I'm like, please don't tell me they're doing this. Please don't tell me that they're doing this. And I was just not enjoying this. And I wanted to like it. I wanted to give it a shot because I was like, okay, they did the very first 2018 one justice because it connects in with the very first movie of the 1970s. And then they're connecting it in with the second one and the third one. So I'm like, okay, well, they screwed the pooch on the second one. It can't be that bad with the third one. I'm sure that that's going to be better. It got
and worse. They took up that challenge. Yeah, what a piece of shit, really.
Okay, my question is this. Yeah. What's worse? Okay, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre or this one?
Probably
this one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. Texas Chainsaw has something more cohesive going on, plus more gore.
Yeah. I mean, it was not a great movie, Chainsaw, the newest one. But wow, that bus scene, right? Wasn't that crazy?
With the live stream and everything.
Right? And that one dude who you really liked, who actually set up the whole town thing and everything, and then the way he gets killed with his face, and I mean, there was a lot of bad in that movie, but there was a whole lot of good. And in Halloween Ends, there's really not that much good.
No. And I think the DJ scene was actually my favorite kill of the whole movie if it was Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Of course, but like I said, it wasn't Michael Myers, so whenever he kills him, I'm not like, ooh, you know how when Michael kills somebody and you're feeling the energy of someone getting killed and you're like, ooh, that is brutal.
Ooh, yeah.
And right, and but this one, I'm like, that's Corey.
Okay. Y'all could have left the DJ alone. It could have been.
But okay, there's actually one other scene I want to talk about too. And this other scene, remember the black woman that winds up getting stabbed in the very first movie? You wind up seeing Laurie being happy, and then all of a sudden this woman goes, "What do you get to be happy about?" I'm like, who are you? Because I was like, Laurie, I was about to jump on this woman, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, you're the daughter that got the woman from the grandmother from the very first movie. Okay, I gotcha. So you do have beef. You have a reason to be mad in a sense, but you did. But at the same time, though, Laurie did not provoke Michael Myers or anything like that. She was just preparing herself in case Michael came. But this one, he was provoked by Corey, and then Laurie also provoked Corey. So
it didn't make sense that the whole town was on her shit, right? I mean, it didn't make sense because it's not her fault she got it, right? It'd be like, I don't know, one of these school shootings going and attacking the parents, right? I mean, they didn't do it. The kids didn't do it. And in this case, Laurie didn't do it. She was attacked. So why is everybody on her shit about that? Again, it just makes no sense, right? And Michael was killing way before Laurie was around. It just didn't make sense. There was so much in this movie that didn't make sense.
It really didn't. And Western, what else do you want to say about the rest of this movie?
Yeah, the trauma that Laurie goes through here. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. I just noticed that. It's just piling on, or at least stop the Laurie slander. I think I put that in my notes somewhere when I was watching that. Hashtag stop the Laurie slander. She didn't do anything wrong necessarily. It's all really Michael Myers and all of his madness. And he did hide away in this one until he was, like you said, provoked. So, I mean, she didn't have anything wrong with it.
Another thing, there was actually another line that Corey says to the granddaughter, which kind of pissed me off, where he goes, "Oh," and it kind of reminds me of Doctor Strange and everything too, with the last Doctor Strange movie, where Wanda winds up saying, "Oh, you do it, and you're the hero," and then you have Corey that says, "Oh, it's okay, you're the hero, so." So basically it's just saying, oh, you have a great story arc, better than mine, because of the fact that you're a survivor. And here I am, who accidentally killed somebody, and I'm getting shamed for accidentally killing somebody.
I'm the psycho. You're the freak show.
Why would he even stay in that town? Right? I mean, that's the other thing. Why would he stay in that town if he had done that thing? He'd move somewhere else. I certainly would. I think either of you guys would. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know you, so
It would have been
maybe
better if
not.
it was like,
Yeah, I was sick of him at some point. When he killed
Well, he
himself
was a
and Lori
terrible
held the knife
actor.
like this was like Clue. I'm like, okay, this is the
Yeah.
straw that
The
breaks the
problem
camel's
was it
back.
was such
Come
a
on.
typical thing to throw in a film, and he just wasn't a good enough actor to carry it off.
oh,
It, and you didn't, like you said, you didn't care about him. And if you're going to make him, and they were kind of making him almost like an anti-hero, like they wanted us to feel bad about his madness that he's going through, but he was never likable. Nobody gave a
no.
shit about him.
And even when Lori is sitting inside that old house where the kid was murdered at, and I get what they were going for with that. It's like, okay, Michael's Sanctuary is the old house that was his first kill. So basically, even though it was an accident, Corey's first kill took place at that old house, which also made me think that they were going to go on ahead and make him into a new Michael Myers,
Which is
also
why you're rage quitting.
Yep, doing that too. And then you see Lori rocking in the rocking chair. I'm like, okay, is this in his head that she's there, or is she really there? And if in that case, if she wasn't there, then she didn't really provoke him. But at the same time, it's fooling with us. It's like, okay, was she there or wasn't she there? And if she was there, yeah, she provoked him. If she wasn't there, it's all in his head. So he was the only one who got provoked at that time. But then you have the granddaughter who goes, "Oh, I love him." I'm like, girl, you just met the guy like 3 or 4 months ago. You want to run away with him, and
They had no chemistry together either. You're right. You're really right. It just felt so forced.
so what do you think about the whole thing about the town following Lori to dump the body?
That was a
Well,
pivotal scene.
I
I liked
could
him.
see that. Yeah, I could see that, right? Because Michael has not just been this murderer and this thing with Lori. He's poisoned the town, right? And that was a continuing theme throughout the entire thing, especially starting with the second one. He's poisoned the town. And so the fact that they all got together to put Michael down, I actually think that made a lot of sense. And I like that scene. You can't go wrong with the chipper.
But
Shoot
I think it's
somebody up.
to
You
be
can't
honest,
go wrong with that.
right? But yeah, that was like the only thing that actually made sense, because if you got tired of somebody and they're doing damage to other people, emotional damage, killing people, and you know that this guy is basically dead, or it looks like he's dead, you would want to watch him be put to an end. So I definitely understand that, but it was just anticlimactic to get to that point where it's like, I'm just ready for this movie to end.
Yeah, that was the problem. Is the rest of it sucked so bad you didn't give a shit about that part, right? You're just like, man, I really want to go watch porn instead.
Hey, at least the
Which I
payoff
didn't.
would be
That's my
better.
wife. I don't know. Something wrong with her. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Not me. Not me.
But you know, this movie is not for everybody. That tell us in the comments below and everything after we're signed off on here. Did you guys like Halloween Ends? Didn't you? What didn't you like about Halloween Ends? And tell us below, because we're curious about what you guys think. Because just because we didn't enjoy it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy that film either. So, but I might be questioning why you like it. But other than that, though, all judgment and everything else, I like to actually have conversations with people who have actually a different opinion than I do. So comment below. And I think that's everything that I had wanted to cover. What about you guys?
Yeah, that just about covers it for me. I just want to forget this one, just like I did with Kills last year.
Me too.
I just thought about it, but the interesting thing is that, at the same time as this Halloween movie's coming out, very iconic movie was kind of rebooted, right? Hellraiser. And Hellraiser was fucking great, the way the changes they made and how they kept kind of parts of the original story. And I think that was a big problem with what happened here is they really just, I don't know, they just shit the bed on it. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I'll tell you what I'll say. How come Western Wonders picture is on your little background and yours is, where the fuck am I? Am I Michael? Is that what's going on? What kind
Yeah,
of
you're
bullshit
Michael.
is that?
You're Michael.
Let's talk about that bullshit.
How about this? Send me a selfie of yourself about how you like this movie or didn't like this movie, and I'll make a I'll put you next to us
Yeah, you
as the
got it.
thumbnail.
So people
You
won't
got
think
it.
that you're Michael.
That's right. So people don't think I'm not William Shatner. I am not.
But anyways, that's gonna do it as far as Halloween ends. But I hope that you guys enjoy this show. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button or anything like that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have Will from Conversations About ... podcast. And we're going to be talking about the whole entire season of She-Hulk and what we thought of it in its whole entirety. We might actually be
awesome.
We might actually be split on what I think of it, but you guys are just going to have to find out what I think of it tomorrow at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And always until next time, guys, it's been a real pleasure as always. Thank you, Chris, for joining me, and Western, thank you as well. And have a great and safe night. And don't forget, we also have the Creed 3 trailer reaction that I dropped today. So go ahead and check that out. And there's also a little blooper reel too that one of my co-hosts actually did last night. So
hey man, real quick, I don't want to stop your ending because boy, I'm so excited. It's going great. But I did just want to say real quick that my play, the Texas Chainsaw Musical, is actually my partner and I decided to pirate our own play, and so we had a video of it from 2012. And we've released it. So if you go to my YouTube channel, CT Space Minori, you can actually check out that entire production. This theater was shooting out something like 30 to 40 gallons of blood a night. So definitely worth watching.
Okay. And of course, I'll have that in the link in the show notes below for you guys to go ahead, subscribe over to his channel, and check out that Texas Chainsaw Massacre play. And always until next time, have a great and safe day. Don't forget to visit Western Wonder on his podcast as well. And bye-bye.